Greetings, fellow makers! Welcome to the shop. We are live from the shop over on our Twitch channel today at noon Pacific. Every week we do this thing. I'm Bill. Today we're continuing work on the Fatebringer kit made by my pal ZProps. Last week we got a bunch of the cosmetic work done on the kit ready to go, and today I'm going to be doing the swing arm conversion that Zander designed into this prop. The idea is that this swing arm will rotate out perfectly and the cylinder will pop out for reloading. This does require some extensive work on this gun, including cutting it in half. So this is going to be a high tension, high stakes game of model making and kit finishing, but I'm very excited to get it going. Zander has a full instructional blog post on his website detailing this, so I'm not going into it blind, but it will be a bit of a challenge. So buckle up, this one's going to be fun. There's a high risk of messing up, which always adds to the drama and tension of these videos. So I hope you enjoy it, and here we go. Time to cut this thing in half. First thing, gotta cut it in half. Now, I've marked where the first line is going to go right here, and the other line up top, I think I'm just going to trace this feature. I think that ought to be okay. Basically, I need to cut those off so I can drill holes into this with the drill press. For the cutting, I've got this hobby saw. It's very sharp, it's very thin, and it won't remove a lot of material, so that's what I'm going for. Otherwise, you could use a bandsaw or a scroll saw, but this has a much thinner blade. So I'm doing this manually and very carefully. This is a pull saw, so the way the teeth are situated, it is pulling, doing the cutting on the pull. And just like that, our gun is now in two pieces. There's a little bit of part there that I just kind of snapped off, which is fine. That'll provide a little bit of registration for when these need to go back together. I'm also planning on putting a little pin in there so these lock together nicely. The next thing I need to do is drill the holes. So this guy gets to take a rest for a while. And this is the swing arm that rests just like that. Nope, like that. There we go. So that's going to go in there. This will get locked in place with just a dab of super glue, which I guess I can do right now. Just a little bit to hold it while we do the drilling. Like so. I'll do a little bit of the spray accelerant on this side. And again, double check that I put it in the right place. And hold this against the bottom nice and tight, so it's got the right clearance. This way, whoop, stay in there, buddy. This way, when I drill my hole through here, it'll go through both this swing arm and the body in the right spot. I've prepared this piece to drill a hole. So the swing arm has been glued in just temporarily. I also put some tape on it to hold it there. And then I put all of this in a drill press clamp, and I made sure everything is nice and square. Made sure that it was square. That's hard to see now, but it's square so that when I drill a hole, it'll be nice and centered. So this is my pin. It's just a finishing nail, and this is the drill bit. And I've already tested on a scrap piece of plastic. This is the right size. So I'm going to go take this over to the drill press and drill a hole in it very carefully. There's our piece with a hole drilled through both the swing arm and the body. I should be able to take the tape off safely. Should be able to just pop that off. I only put a little bit of glue on it. Let's carefully squeeze this in there. And, oh, there it goes. So we got our hole through there, a hole through there, and let me scrape off some of this glue so that it's not a problem anymore. And get one of my pins. This should go just like that. And look at that. That's exactly what we wanted. We're good to go right there. On to the next step. So here's our swing arm. It's going to go in like so. And to stay closed, it's going to have a magnet. So to start, I'm going to drill a hole for the magnet on the swing arm. It's just a 1/4 inch hole. I've pre-drilled a little spot for it. This doesn't need to be perfect, so I'm just going to carefully drill out a 1/4 inch hole. Whoops. You can see I did a test on this chunk of urethane earlier. There we go. That's really should be all we need, but I can test to make sure that the magnet will fit. Not quite. And make sure it's deep enough. So let's drill that out just a little bit. Now I'm just going to rough this up a tiny bit with some sandpaper. Drop a little bit of super glue in. And attach it forever. Just like that. And now to find out where to put the hole on this guy here, this can go in place like the right way. There we go. The pin can go in, so this is where it's going to slide out. That looks good. There's a couple ways you could put like acrylic paint on there. I'm going to cover this. I'm going to have to redraw my dot. I'm going to cover that with Sharpie and then swing it shut like that. And you can see an outline of where that's supposed to go, the next hole. So let's center punch that right about there. And then I got to be really careful drilling this that I don't go all the way through. So that can come out. Got magnets everywhere. Settle down, you. And like I did before, I will drill a pilot hole. And like I said before too, I don't need this to go very deep, so I want to be careful not to go too far. That looks good. Going with the 1/4 inch bit now to gently and carefully finish the hole. So that's drilled. Just put a little bit of glue in there. Actually, let's sand the back of this. It's got a little bit of grip. And a little bit of glue in there. And just to make sure that it's in the right place, or the right direction, I just put the magnet on here, and we will do that like so. Press that in. Good to go. We've got magnet on the back of this, magnet on the back of that, and when we pin it, it should hold closed and then magnet open, or magnet closed and snap open. Here's my pin. This is a finishing nail that I've modified. I just smacked the end of it with a hammer to flatten it out a little bit. I didn't have the same nail that Zander used, but this will do just fine. I've also trimmed it to length so that it can go in like so and in like so, like that, and it still does the thing. Let's see here. This will get glued in there, but first I want to drill a little bit of a hole for that head. And I've just got drill bit, and I'm going to just carefully drill a little bit of room for that nail head. Oh, there we go. Okay, I drilled out that area. The pin goes in there. Let's pull that out. So the pin goes in there, just like that. It spins nicely. That'll go in just like so. And it swings out. So that's good to go, but I'm not going to glue the pin in yet. There's one more thing to do. Next step here. I drilled a hole through the bottom of the swing arm here, and that is to accommodate a nail. And what's going to happen is I will run this with the nail in there along, and it carves an arc into the resin. So if we look here, whoop, there's an arc being formed right there. That's going to be a track so that the swing arm runs along that and will stop at the end, so it won't continue swinging any further than we want it to. So what I'll do is just keep running this as it gouges a groove deeper and deeper into our resin. And then occasionally clearing out the debris. And then also, the end of this nail can be trimmed a little bit so that it makes a wider path. Now with the nail head a little bit shorter, when I drag it through there, it should make a more wide trench. Yeah! That's really hogging out some material now. Like that. So I'll just keep doing that until I have a nice deep trench for this, and then this gets pinned or glued in, I suppose, to keep this from opening all the way. Here is our finished track thing. So there is the groove in there. This pin will make it so that it rides along there and then stops right there so that the arm doesn't swing all the way open like crazy. So this can get glued in, and then this pin can get glued in. So we're ready to commit. We're ready to do some things that are completely irreversible. Exciting. There we go. That pin that I cut it to length and glued it in. So there's a little bit of a sort of nubbin sticking out there that will ride through that groove, like so. And if I get everything squared up that way, it rides the way it ought to, and it stops where it should and goes back together. So now is the time. Now is the time to glue this pin into the body there. So I'm just going to do that now. No going back. And you need to make sure that glue actually gets down in there. And then this is going to go together forever. Forever. Just like that, and push that in. And that's it. Our fates are sealed. Let that dry. Good to go. This is going to get glued together, and then I'm going to drill a pinhole through there. So first, let's just glue this together. And spray the bottom there. Alright, cool. Now we're gluing it like so, and hold it until it's nice and locked together. It's all lined up down the barrel, very nice. Then we're going to drill a hole through there and put a pin in. So we're going to carefully drill a hole this way. There we go. And this will go through, let's see here, this will go through both pieces, and then that what hole is left will be filled in. Now this can go in there and lock everything together. Super nice like. And then we can trim that. So let's, you know what, I'm going to trim the end of that though, because we don't need the pointy end. And also, I'm just sort of chomping on this with these needle noses to add some registration so that there's a little bit for this to, a little bit for the glue to grip onto. And now we'll glue it up like so. Do this like so, and then like that. Wipe up our extra, and then I can trim that off and sand it flush. But that should be nice and secure. Okay, one of the last steps here, now that we've pinned everything together, is that getting glue down into the hole for this pin is tricky to do. So, Zander recommends in his guide that you grind through the side here to get down to the pin, which is poking through right there, and glue it from here just to make double sure this thing is not going to come out. So, gonna add a little bit of super glue in there, like so. Let it really get in there, and hit it with the accelerant, let it dry, and then this is going to get filled and sanded nice and smooth, which I have to do for this seam anyway. This is where the two halves came together. So I'm just going to mix up some super glue and baby powder like I've done in the past fill those all in and sand them nice and smooth. Just about done with this conversion bit here. This little area here I filled in with super glue, and that can get sanded down. I'll start with just a file here and round it out so that it matches the profile of the piece around it. So we'll just get that sanded down. Okay, that'll be painted, you'll never see it. But now the pin that holds this in place we know is glued in there really, really well. It's not going to come flying out. It still does its thing. The last bit here, this little thing reinforces some of the body down here, like that. So that'll just get glued in place. Let's do that super quick, like so. Tiny bit of glue there. Tiny bit of glue there. Want to make sure we don't get any on the swing arm. That goes together and gets nice and centered like that. And this will help reinforce all of that. Just like so. Clamp that down and give it a little spray with some accelerant there to speed up the curing process. That's good to go. And that is the entire swing arm conversion right there. So here is the kit ready to go with the conversion on there. This is the cylinder that will go in there. Now, I'm not going to glue it in now because, of course, I want to paint this thing. So we're going to keep these parts separate until I do some painting. But for now, you can see that there's a hole in there that this will get glued into eventually, like so. This can still spin. This is the ammo part here that goes in there, and this swings closed nicely like that. And then when I need to swing it open, I can do the thing to pop it open like that, and then whoop, do this thing to close it and then open. Those magnets are really strong. It's jangling around a bit there because it's not glued all tight yet, but if I push it, you can see like that, it pops open. You can do the spinny thing because you're a cool guardian gunslinger guy, and then whoop, it pops closed like that. And there you go. That's how you do the swing arm conversion kit for the ZProps Fate Cannon, Hand Cannon, and Fatebringer. Good to go. Piece of cake. Tell me, do you feel lucky? This is so cool. I'm very happy that I went through with this to be able to pop that part out. I love having moving mechanical pieces, and this feels really solid, so I'm getting super stoked to finish this. I will be finishing this next week on our live stream. That's when I'm going to do the majority of the painting on it. I think in between now and then, if I have the time, I will get this just buffed up and primed, ready to go for paint. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today in the shop while we do a little bit of work on a really fun kit. If you haven't already, check out ZProps' website. We'll have a link down below if you want to get a kit like this or one of his other really great kits. Links below. You can go check them out. They're fantastic. Once again, thanks for hanging out with us. We do Twitch live streams every week from the shop, noon Pacific. Head on over there, give us a follow, and join us live in the shop. It's a ton of fun. Hey, thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe so you don't miss any of our new weekly prop and costume tutorial videos. For more goodies, head over to our website where you'll find blueprints, tutorial books, articles, and more. We also have a second channel for our Q&A show and extra behind the scenes videos. Thanks again and happy crafting.